Welcome back to another episode of the Kurerie podcast, and hello if you're new. At the Kurerie podcast, we're focused on amplifying the stories of young changemakers that are creating impact in their communities. Today, Atoshi, a wonderful volunteer at Kurerie, and I interview two amazing changemakers, Maesha and Shoummo. They are the founders of Green and Beyond Mag. They're both climate journalists and writers. Maesha is also a social worker, and she co-founded Green and Beyond Mag after discovering her passion in writing for positive impact, specifically to inspire climate action. Shoummo, apart from being a climate journalist and writer, is also an engineer who is all about green tech and energy. He's worked as a writer for over 8 years, and he found true purpose in writing to bring climate change, sustainability, and climate optimism to light. We hope you really enjoy this episode. It was a joy speaking with Maesha and Shoummo, and doing this interview with Atoshi was amazing. Happy listening!
Hi, this is Maesha.
Hello, this is Shoummo.
We're the founders of Green and Beyond Mag, and you're listening to the Kurerie podcast.
Hey Maesha and Shoummo, we are so delighted to have you guys on board with us today. I am Atoshi, born and raised in Dhaka, Bangladesh, currently in 11th grade, and this is my very dear friend and co-host Zulu. Please go ahead and introduce yourself as well, Zulu.
Thanks, Satoshi. Hi, everyone. I think most of the listeners know me, but I'm the founder of Kurerie, and today we have some great guests who are going to be we're going to be learning about their impact journeys and the work that they've done in change making. So yeah, I'm very excited for this conversation.
Okay, the first question we usually begin with is, who is Maesha and Shoummo? Please tell us a bit about yourselves.
Hi, guys. It's such a pleasure to be here. So I think I'll start. I am a climate journalist and a writer, a social worker who also happens to be a climate optimist. So I graduated with a business degree initially, but I always had this, I always wanted to work in the humanitarian sector. And so as a student, when I was very young, I joined nonprofits and I worked with education, women empowerment, and things like that. So for over 6 years, I've been working in this development sector. And with the writing, as a kid, I used to write fictional stories. You see, we have these little children's books, notebooks, right, with cartoons and animal pictures. And I had these little square notebooks that my mom used to get me for classes. And I used to write fictional stories on them and used to make my own books out of them. So I've pretty much been a writer my whole life. So the thing is that wherever I've been, I've also been in the corporate sector for a little bit. But wherever I've been, writing has always been my strong suit. And I've always wanted to do something of my own with that. And here I am. So yeah, that's, I guess, all about me.
Okay, and hello guys, and thank you for having me. This is Shoummo, another co-founder of Green and Beyond. Just like Maesha, I am also a writer, but I also didn't graduate in any of the related fields that I really work in right now. I am an engineer, an electrical engineer focused on renewable energy mainly. But I worked in the development sector too for not longer than Maesha, but for quite 2 to 3 years at least. Then, yeah, so my experience as a writer, I actually started writing. The first memory that I have is creating my own wall magazine for 21st February, the International Mother Language Day. That was my first memory of the beginning of my writing career or my writing journey. And then when I was in grade 5, there was this teacher of us whose name was Sir Albert Golder. I don't know whether Atoshi you don't know him or not, but he actually used to inspired us so much about writing creative pieces and poems. So yeah, my journey actually started from there. And then as I was growing up, I got introduced to different kind of musics and like social movements, and I started writing lyrics and blog posts. And actually like enriched pieces of articles and blogs about the social movements and social issues of Bangladesh, and like the movements or the earthquakes. And then in my late stage of my graduating period in my honors level, I was actually running a page for raising awareness to about earthquakes. So that's where actually the environmental journey started for me. And then I worked in the environmental sector in two nonprofits here in Bangladesh. And later I got out of all kind of professional work in 2019, and I started doing freelancing work as a writer, a blogger. And yeah, that's actually how my journey started before Green and Beyond. Thank you.
Thank you for your introductions. It was really interesting learning about how you started off. And I think what's interesting about both your stories is the fact that none of you really studied what you're doing or working in right now. You never studied what's the sector that you're working in right now. So I think it's interesting that from an electrical engineering background, from a business background, you were able to pivot and move into this not only storytelling but climate change sector. But one thing I really enjoy about the Green and Beyond mag, because I've read like some of the posts on your website, but I really love that you're using storytelling to push like knowledge about climate change and about what young people, and not just young people, what people are doing in different ways to sort of curb the effects of climate change. Well, that being said, could you tell us a bit about what really ignited the start of Green and Beyond? What was that thing that made you think, okay, this is what needs to change. This is how I'm going to change it through this magazine?
To be honest, it was really the pandemic that started Green and Beyond. There was this fear, the hopelessness, and the anxiety, and the state of not knowing what's next. The pandemic hit us without any warning, and it affected people all over the world. And while trying to cope with it, we realized that there was something bigger than the pandemic happening every single day, and that is climate change. So that's when, we started educating ourselves more, and, we tapped into this community, and we kept engaging, and, we kept educating ourselves, and we realized that we really wanted to address this because this is bigger than any other pandemic. So we wanted to use our best abilities to work for a solution and use something that we're good at to do so. So we realized that, when you were asking that what needs to change, we felt like people don't realize their individual power. For example, Shoummo and I were just talking a couple of days ago that if you're someone who has no idea about the climate movement, you go on social media, suppose Instagram, and you see a post of someone doing something good for the planet, maybe someone living sustainably, making a simple, shift or a change in their lifestyle that is healthy or good for the planet. Maybe like a sustainable fashion choice, maybe they're thrifting, maybe they're mending their clothes. That's such a simple thing, but it's good for the planet, right? So this one post can inspire this one person. It can inspire you to try the same, right? So I think we're just one step away from becoming what do I call a catalyst for change. So when you do something positive, there's this ripple effect, and it affects other people, and you have no idea about it. And when one person does it, and when individuals do it separately, and when you count it as a collective of all these people, when you take it all together, you see that there's a huge movement happening around here. So like I said, when we were tapping into this community and we were educating ourselves, we found so many people doing all these things, and it inspired us. And we were already, we realized that in Southeast Asia, we were already practicing a lot of things that were sustainable, but we had no idea about it. And we also started making other changes to, because we were conscious about what we could do. So we started practicing that as well. So it inspired us, and we realized that it could inspire other people as well. So really what started Green and Beyond was us wanting to raise awareness about the issue and, try to inspire positive change.
Thank you for that, Maesha. Would you like to add anything, Shoummo?
I think I would just like to add that, just like with Maesha, what Maesha has said, that I was really tired of feeling hopeless during the pandemic.
Mm.
I really wanted to take actions, but we were all inside our home. So taking action was, we didn't know how to take action that time, right?
Mhm.
So I tried to came up with the best plan that I could do at that time from my home. And when Maisha was actually, another thing that I would like to add, that when Maisha was saying that we started educating ourselves, I have to mention another co-founder of ours, who is Raisa, Maisha's sister. She is an environmental scientist, and she actually helped us a lot to understand all all not critical to her, but critical to us, climate change issues and topics, for us to have a more clear understanding about it. So yeah, and we actually the platform UNFCCC, UNCCE Learn, that platform actually helped both of us a lot to finish those courses, have certificates, and yeah,
Mm.
that's it.
Yeah, that I
Thank you.
think one thing that you really said that stood out to me was that you used what you were good at to create change. And I think that that's so important. You know, not everybody can speak in public, not everybody can lead a movement, but you knew that you were good at writing and you thought, okay, how can I use this to address an issue that I'm passionate about? How can I use this to educate other people on this issue? And how can I use this to create change? And I think that that's very, very interesting. And that's worthy of note, because I think that this is just a note, but this is something I saw on your website as well about, I don't remember the person's name, but I believe she's a singer and she sings for the planet. And that's her using her innate talent to address an issue that she's passionate about. So I think this is like a note for every young person to recognize that you don't have to have these, I guess, charismatic or popular traits to be able to create change. You can use what you know you're good at to create change. So yeah, thank you very much
Absolutely.
for that answer.
Thank you.
Okay, Toshi, over to you.
I would like to add to what Maisha Apu said. By the way, Apu and Bhaiya is what we denote our elder brothers or sisters in Bangladesh, and I love them really so dearly, and I respect them dearly. So I'll just call them Apu and Bhaiya for everyone out there that's listening.
Thank you so much.
So
That's so
I
sweet
just,
of you.
I just like to add what Maisha Apu just said. When you do something, it has a ripple effect. But what we don't really see is doing something is not that easy. What Shomo Bhai has said, taking action is not that easy, especially during a pandemic. So the next question we want to ask you guys is, what is your biggest setback or regret concerning Green and Beyond when you started it? And now that it has grown, how have you guys solved it or resolved it? We really don't use the word failure over here, so we just call it a setback that we overcome. Handing it over to you guys.
Okay, so when we were starting Green and Beyond, we had no idea what we could do with it. So, like I said, we wanted to just raise awareness. And, we just opened up social media pages and we were trying to do so many things all at once until we figured out what we really could do. So, we tried to create a social media platform to raise awareness at first, and then we designed campaigns and stuff. We wanted to start a sustainable business. We wanted to be event planners. We wanted to do so many things, and it was crazy. Before figuring it out, we were doing so many things, and it took a year for us to find out what to focus on. The one thing that we wanted to focus on. So apart from that, there are no other setbacks because we absolutely love our work. Of course, sometimes it's tough to stay hopeful while working to address the climate crisis because there's hope fatigue. We do call ourselves climate optimists, but as journalists, we are always exposed to negative news. There's doom and gloom everywhere. There's negative news happening all the time. And, it's really important to keep our heads cool. So what we do is we try to, we talk to each other all the time about it whenever we feel low, and we try to meditate and we pray. And one thing that we do with our platform on Green and Beyond Mag is that we try to focus, we've shifted our focus from all sorts of climate news to the good ones, and the solutions, because no matter what no matter all the negative things happening around us, there's also good things happening. There are so many innovations happening, green innovations, and then there are so many sustainable businesses growing, and there are so many good stories. There's so many inspiring people taking incredible actions, and so this is what we have shifted our focus to. And so yeah, we focus on the good stories. That's what we do.
That's so amazing. And I love how you said you don't have any setbacks. It reminds me of the quote, if you work for what you love, you don't work a day. I think you guys are a real example of that. That's really amazing what you said. And yes, I really don't remember before the pandemic, people really talking about green stuff or sustainable stuff. But now everyone is all about it, all about sustainability. More than creating a new thing, people wants to sustain whatever they have, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Zulu, would you like to add something?
Yeah, no, I also love that you said that you have no setbacks, and I think it's so important to not focus on like what's like has gone wrong, and which is why we always say that like we don't do failure here. We always think of every obstacle or every speed bump as a learning experience or a chance to grow. So yeah, it was really good to hear that. But you've spoken about, well, technically we didn't speak about setbacks because we said we don't have any setbacks. But now we'd like to know about your biggest success or successes, because it could definitely be more than one.
So when you ask about our biggest success, I think there are actually two, right? So the first one is it happened a long time ago, but it was when our dream platform, there was this platform that's Green is the New Black. We love them. It's a digital magazine as well. And initially when we realized we wanted to create a digital magazine, Green is the New Black was the inspiration for us. And it was huge for us when this platform and the founders actually recognized our work. They acknowledged us and they followed us, and this was huge for us. So that is the first moment. And the other one is this community that we have. Yeah, when we started off, like I said, we started tapping into this community. We started talking to people. We started engaging. And now we're also, partners and global ambassadors to Slow Fashion Movement. This is a huge community. And there are so many people there are creators, green creators, there are sustainable business entrepreneurs, there are artists and so many other creatives that we know now in this community. And these people are so freaking cool. They're so nice, and there's no competition in this sector. This is what I've felt, wherever I've been before Green and Beyond. I've seen people competing with each other, but I don't see that here. No one's competing for anything. Everyone's trying to help each other, and this is a beautiful community. So I think being able to, being a part of this community is a huge success for us in itself.
I love that. And, I think community is so important. Having a group of people who have the same beliefs as you, have the same goals as you is so important. And there's also something you said about how there is no competition in the sector and in the community that you are a part of and that you've created. And, there are so many people who are in the social impact sector, who are in the development sector. And to be honest, once in a while, there will be competition. But I think it's so important to remember, especially for every young person that's listening right now, that at the end of the day, there is like a set goal, and that's sustainability and development. And I think when people remember that at the end of the day, everyone in this development sector is trying to achieve something that will help everybody, every human, I think it will definitely make like a healthier environment. So yeah, thank you for saying that. Shoummo, do you have anything to add?
Not really, because Maesha actually covered it pretty well.
All right, cool. Okay, so I think we can take the next question because it says that we have 10 minutes left in this meeting. But Atoshi, do you want to take the next question, or do you want us to log back in again?
I think I can say it on both of our behalves. We, Zula and I, were very much intrigued by the campaigns that Green and Beyond have been running. Could you tell us more about Plastic Free July and Green Year Ahead, and what they stand for you guys, and how you guys came to start it?
So these are actually just campaigns that we pull off to, get more people involved through actionable steps. So, initially we wanted to bring people from the mainstream to, understand what we're working with. So through these campaigns, we try to share actionable steps, easy steps that people can take to, join the climate movement, to spread the message of optimism that it's possible to take the first step towards your climate movement. So I think that is it. But if you want to learn about Plastic Free July, so it's basically what we did was we shared quotes from the people in the community. There, like I said, we have green entrepreneurs, we have creators. So all these people shared how they're making a change throughout the month of July. And it's not just the month of July that you should practice it, right? So, this just spreading how you can do it, how you can go plastic free. And it's not easy, if you can't go plastic free. Like in Bangladesh, it's pretty much impossible to go plastic free. Everywhere you go, you have plastic. So what we did is we tried to share actionable steps, like I said, like what you can do from your ability, from wherever you are. And Green Year Ahead was a New Year campaign.
Quite a similar one.
Yeah, quite a similar one. But Green Year Ahead was based on optimism and hope, that we don't want to focus on the negatives anymore. And that's where we actually started rebranding and, focusing on climate optimism, right? That's, with Green Year Ahead, we started this, focusing on climate optimism. So it was more about hope. So every day throughout the month of January, I think, right?
December, actually, before January. And we actually called this campaign not Green Year Ahead. We actually called this campaign Gaia.
Just GYA, Green Year Ahead, Gaia.
So Earth. I thought that it was fantastic.
Oh, that's so cool. I love it. I love it. I that just clicked in my head. I'm like, oh. So what I was just saying is Bangladesh is such a fast-paced country. The people of our country really don't have the time to think about the next 2 days. What are they going to think about the future where global warming will actually have an effect and actually will think about going green. So yes, I think if I even look at my table, I won't be able to see not plastic. So yes, I think even going for 30 days without plastic would be a big challenge in Bangladesh. So yeah, plastic free July, staying consistent, I think that it sounded like an amazing thing when I first found out about plastic free July, because staying consistent won't be easy. And Green Year Ahead for a year sounds even more scary to me living here. So I think overall it sounded like an amazing campaign. I hope you guys had a lot of fun with the people that did it and the people that voted for you guys. Zulu, would you like to add something?
I think this is like the best time to go into the next question, because one of the things that you've mentioned, I think twice now in two of the questions that you've answered, is the term climate optimism. So could you just tell us a bit about what climate optimism is and why it's important for you to have that in mind as you do your work?
Yeah, so climate optimism, like what Maesha was saying earlier, that when you think about climate change or you think about any kind of news related to climate change, what are the normal things that come to our minds? Like something bad has happened, or something bad is happening right now, or something bad is going to happen. There are three kind of things that we can think of when we hear the term climate change, or we think about climate news. But this doom and gloom mentality, this news, that all of this news actually, this kind of news lead people, individuals, to feel hopeless, feel tired, and that those kind of feelings lead people to nothing, actually, to inaction. But we are in such a state, considering the climate change, that it's actually a kind of a bit late to feel that much tired to not take action. And it's also not logical to feel that much hopeless, because there are so many good things happening all around us in every corners of the world. So that is why, instead of focusing on the negativity, on those doom and gloom and bad newses, you can actually, as a person, with your using your own consciousness, you can choose to focus on the optimistic side of it. So you can be a climate optimist. Okay, maybe you wake up some in the morning and have a look at the newspaper, and then there are news filled up with bad news regarding the climate. But you can choose to go back to Google and actually search that what kind of good things are happening in this week. Because I can assure you that every week there are many good things happening all around the world. So yeah, that's why I think choosing climate optimism is really important, because without optimism, it's impossible to take actions. Climate optimism is actually what keeping those actions alive. Yeah.
Yeah, and oh, sorry, Maesha, would you like to add anything to that?
I think Shoummo covered it brilliantly. That's what really was in my mind as well. So yeah.
All right, cool. So I was just going to say that it's really important. And like what you said about climate optimism reminds me of something that I always hear, which is like celebrating the small wins, the seemingly small wins, and like celebrating the actions that you take. They might not change the world overnight, but you know that you're doing your part to curb climate change. And eco anxiety is something I've been reading about recently, and it seems like a scary concept. So I love the idea or the concept of climate optimism, and it's definitely something that I'm going to be keeping in mind as I go forward and live my life in this very unknown world. Yeah, Atoshi, do you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I really love that idea about how everything is about doom and gloom, but we should like go to Google and ask them and just see the good news, because it's not so hard. About everything is so negative that you actually have to Google the good stuff to make yourself feel better. That is on the world, but that's actually a really good life hack now. Like it has to be a life hack. But yeah, thanks for sharing it, Shomo Bhai. I really love that idea. I'll definitely do it in my life now. I really need it. Okay, so my first encounter with Green and Beyond was through GCM. GCM is another international organization called Global Change Makers. I was there as an outreach volunteer back in 2021. That's when I found out about the GCMX Bangladesh event that was taking place and was hosted by none other than Green and Beyond. That's how I got to know about Maesha Apu. She was the facilitator of my room. I had amazing couple of days with her. So I just want to ask you guys to tell us more about the GCMX Bangladesh event arranged in the middle of a full-fledged pandemic. I have to mention it. It was in 2021 and in Bangladesh was in full lockdown mode. So yes, guys, please go ahead.
Yeah, GCMX was actually a turning point for us. Uh, before GCMX, we were doing campaigns, like I said before. So the last campaign that we did before GCMX was a global photography exhibition, right?
Mhm.
Climate capture. Yeah. So we actually received, before GCMX, we weren't doing much of, global collaboration work, but during that exhibition, what happened was we received responses from over 15 countries from all over the world. And it was huge for us, like mind-boggling for us. And so that is where we thought, okay, we should go for more of a partnership approach. We should collaborate with other platforms. We should work with other platforms. So that's when, Raisa, he already talked about Raisa as my sister, and she's also a member of Green Beyond, our team member. So she was also there, a volunteer at GCMX at the time. And she had the idea to actually do a GCMX here in Bangladesh. That could be virtual because we are on lockdown, and we could focus on climate action. So that's where it happened. And after we did GCMX was amazing. I met you guys, I met you, and and I always remembered you people. And like I said, I talked to Shoummo about you guys, and he knows all of you. So it's incredible. And, after GCMX, we actually realized that, we were so inspired by you guys, like these young participants. You got 2 days. Most of you guys, you don't know each other. But you created groups and you worked spontaneously and came up with effective solutions to problems. And this was so inspiring. This really inspired us. So Otoshi, thank you for that. So this is where we realized, after GCMX ended, we realized that we wanted to focus on, that's when we thought that we wanted to use our strong suit, which was writing, and we wanted to create a digital magazine. So before that, we were just a social media platform. So that's when we rebranded and we completely became Green and Beyond Mag from just Green and Beyond. Thank you for that.
First of all, congrats for your global response at that time. 15 countries is a lot. Congrats on that. And I definitely have to say it was a really successful event. At least I felt like it. Just for a background review, what I did, from what I remember, is that we created this small idea about how we can incorporate more nature, more greens in our life as for students and their mental health, and for why green and nature is important for people's mental health as humans, why it is important. And our entire program, entire design was about that. And I absolutely loved it, everything about it. So yes, GCMX was wonderful. And I met you guys back then and we still haven't lost connection. Thank you guys for that. Now we are here. Yeah, it was amazing. It wasn't just school. You guys really helped me at that time because I was not doing all right during the pandemic and my family was going through a lot of stuff. So 2 days of amazing time online. It was like a small camp, boot camp. I loved it. Zulu, would you like to add something to it?
Yeah, I mean, I was just thinking that it's funny because I wasn't a part of, I haven't been a part of GCMX, any of the events, but I was a mentee for Global Change Makers, I think about like 2 years ago. So I was just thinking how it's funny that we all have this connection and it's such a small world. But it's also cool to see how GCM has like played such a positive role in each of our lives, from Atoshi saying that it helped her through a tough time during the pandemic, to you saying that that's really what sparked your interest in creating Green and Beyond. So yeah, kudos to the GCM team, I guess.
Shout out to the GCM team. I also met Zulu from GCM.
Yeah, that's true.
We vibed so hard. We were like, yeah, we are doing this now. And I hopped onto the Kurerie podcast with her. And now we're here.
So thank you, GCM. But when you mentioned that GCM is really what led you to create Green and Beyond, that got me thinking about how like social impact ideas come to life and how they evolve. I'd like to know how has Green and Beyond evolved from the first idea you had of sharing climate change education through storytelling till now? Like what do you think has changed and for the better and all of that? Yeah.
I actually didn't get your question properly. Can you please repeat that?
Yeah, sure. I was saying, how do you think Green and Beyond has evolved from the first idea you had for it till now?
Like we said, Green and Beyond was actually, when we started, we had no idea what we wanted to do. We just knew that we wanted to address climate action, and we wanted to, we're from Bangladesh, and Bangladesh is one of the most climate vulnerable countries in the world. And we realized during the pandemic that most people have no idea about it. They're not talking about it. And I have never heard of that, before that point. And it blew my mind that why aren't people talking about it? Our global impact is so low, yet we are one of the most vulnerable countries, and it's taking a toll on us for what, the rest of the world, from people from the global north are doing. It's affecting us. And we're not talking about this. So what we were thinking initially is that we wanted to raise awareness. So we just started off this social media platform. So it was really nothing. So when we started off and we gradually, we educated ourselves more, like I said before, we were doing courses. We did not want to preach something that we didn't completely know about. So we were learning, we were growing, and we were doing campaigns, we were engaging people, we were talking to people in the community. And over time we realized that we wanted to make this big because of the response that we were getting. And initially when we started, we were saying that we couldn't find people in the niche, especially here in Bangladesh. But slowly when we start working, we did find people, a very few, but we did. And then we also, engaged with the global communities as well. So this community here, like I said before, it's so inspiring, and we wanted to make this big. So that's when we thought that we wanted to probably create a business out of it. Maybe we wanted to do a sustainable business. I don't know. We were going crazy with ideas, and we were trying so many things all together. But pretty much what I said before, that after GCMX, we realized that, we could really use what we have. When these teams were working, every person in the team was using what their strong suit is, right? So that got us thinking that, we need to use what we're good at and totally focus on that, solely focus on that, and only then we can do our best. So that's when we switched to the idea. So before that, Green and Beyond was just Green and Beyond. And after that, Green and Beyond became Green and Beyond Mag. So now it's Green and Beyond Mag. And yeah, that's what we're doing now.
I think I would like to add something to that. What Maesha said, one thing is very important. What Maesha said, that the impacts of the climate crisis, like countries like Bangladesh or Nigeria or any other country from the global south, we are actually affected by the climate crisis disproportionately. Like we if you look at the data, and if you really try to understand the history of how the situation got worse this much from the time of the it actually started from the beginning of the industrial movement, and we weren't actually a part of it, but we were the sufferers. We are still the sufferers. So, and GCMX made me feel actually that there were young people just like Otoshi, and there are so many young people who are not only thinking about solutions. They were the fantastic thing that I noticed in GCMX was not only these people, young people who didn't know each other. They created a group and they identified problems first, and then they talked about the solutions. So if they could identify problems and talk about solutions, then there are so many more people who are actually working on solutions. So I felt like there are so many stories to be told out there, and you could see that the global north in the form of storytelling, like big magazines or platforms like The Guardian or Vogue or Times Magazine, they're talking about like the big names like Malala Yousafzai, or I guess nowadays Vanessa Nakate, or from here Aisha Siddiqa. So these are big names when it come to the movement of social change or positive climate movements. But there are so many, at least small and mediocre names or unnamed names that we don't know, but their stories are needed to be taken out there for the rest of the world to know about them. So I felt a drive to bring up those stories, to listen to those stories, and to tell those stories. So yeah, that's how Green and Beyond evolved from Green and Beyond to Green and Beyond Mag for me. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for answering that question. And it reminds me of like a recent article that was published on Kurerie about climate justice, and how climate justice or articles or media reporting, as you said, of climate cases are biased and unjust and usually tilted towards the West and what happens in Western countries. So I also commend you for sharing the stories of those seemingly unknown activists who are working towards curbing climate change in their countries, and you're reporting on cases of climate change in countries that might otherwise not have gotten this media coverage. So yes, thank you for that. And it was very interesting to learn how Green and Beyond Mag has grown from when you first started it till now. Toshi, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I just wanted to say Thank you guys for giving us youth the platform, like organizations like Green and Beyond, the platform to actually identify the problems and actually come to somewhat solutions. Because if I remember, we had very real problems and real solutions to that, and that were actually about Bangladesh, not just in a general idea. I think our program was about how students from the rural areas of Bangladesh come to the cities for better education, and then they suffer really badly mentally due to the drastic environmental changes, because in the cities it's all about pollution, it's all about traffic. There's not a single moment to breathe from where they actually come from, which is a very relaxed, a bit more greenery, with definitely more greenery. And we really talked about it. It was all about green issues in Bangladesh. It wasn't just a general idea about global warming or the ice caps melting. It was very important issues about Bangladesh. And thank you guys for creating that platform for us to discuss things like that. And we really wouldn't have come to all of those discussions ever if it wasn't for organizations like Green and Beyond. So yeah, I just wanted to add that to it. Thank you,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Yeah, so for me, the I I've been following Green and Beyond for more than 2 years now, and I can agree that I have probably every week just wake up and see a new green terminology and learn a new word. Thanks to you guys, I know what green hushing and red washing means now, and I just wanted to ask who came out with this brilliant idea about just going on with this green terminologies and posting them on your social media pages and teaching people every week or every other day about a new green word and what that means. I really love that idea.
Actually, we started Green and Beyond Mag with the hope of educating more people every day. And when we came across terms like, say, green hushing or green labeling or red washing or terms like these, we kind of felt that it was necessary to share it with other people, our readers, because like the business as usual, the world, mainly the polluters, the greenwashers, uh, every day they are coming up with different approaches, different marketing tactics to actually greenwash us. So it's actually tough to be practice conscious consumerism or practice your activities as a responsible or conscious citizen in this modern time. As someone who actually needs to act as a climate conscious citizen, global citizen. So without knowing these terms, you could actually fall into those kind of traps. So say you could actually go to the supermarket or buy any product that says that it's eco or it's green, it's sustainable, it's regenerative, but you actually don't know. I mean, you actually haven't checked their backgrounds. They might be greenwashing here. So there are so many terms that we need to know for us to stay conscious and to take actions, because even actions like buying something is also is what we call voting with your wallet, because that's important. And to at least let people make more conscious about their decisions, we started sharing about these terms so that they can point out which corporations or companies or practices are actually trying to fool them, and so that they don't fall into these traps. So yeah, that was completely about that. We're still running these campaigns to share this kind of words, like we shared today. What did you share today? Green labeling, right?
Yes.
So we shared about green labeling today. So yeah, so the more we know, the more we get educated, the more it gets easier for us to take actions and not get fooled by the greenwashers. Yeah.
I think what Shoummo said is so spot on. The more educated we are, as consumers, we're all consumers. There's no denying that we're all consumers. We're always consuming, and as consumers, we have so much power, and we don't realize it. If we change how we think, we can change the world. And as consumers, we need to get educated to take action. And the more educated we are, the more accountable and transparent businesses have to become in order to sustain us, as consumers. So the more accountable and transparent they are, the more accountable and transparent and sustainable the future becomes. So yeah.
Thanks for sharing that. I also noticed you guys post a small little fact about it, like the green labeling one, and how Unilever was hit by an ad ban because, they greenwashed other people. So, yeah, I really love this concept. I can just wake up and go to someone who's doing stuff like this and be like, yes, you're green labeling this. Try figuring out that. I know it now because I follow Green and Beyond. You should have done it too, but like, it's a you problem now. So thanks for educating me almost every single day. I really love this concept. So if you like to add something.
Yeah, like climate change is like such a complex topic, or it can seem like a really complex topic to everyone, especially if you're following the news. There's so much information and misinformation. So like I also commend you for educating people in like small bite-sized forms on the different aspects and different issues connected with climate change. And like the work you do is quite similar to the work we do at Kurerie, which is about showing people how they can create change by taking actionable steps. And I love that Green and Beyond doesn't just like spitball the information and say, okay, this is what this is why it's bad. You also tell people this is like the step that you can take to address this, so people can know that they can actually be the change. So yeah, thank you for the work that you do. And I'm really excited to see what more that Green and Beyond does. But I think I can go to like sort of like my next question. And Kurerie is a word in my language which means change. And I always say this in every podcast episode. I think people are probably tired of hearing it by now, but I think we'd love to know what change means to you.
So what I think is that, I think it's everyone can relate with that. Change is the only constant thing in the world. But the change that we hope for is a world that is joyful, safe and secure, and sustainable and just for all. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good and precise definition or example, like a world that is just for all. Atoshi, do you have anything that you'd like to add?
Yes, I think that's an amazing way to describe change, even from a platform where you guys literally all you guys do is change. It's all about change. I don't know how you can define a change anymore. It's literally what you guys do is change. But I wanted to ask you guys, how do you think people can make a change in their communities, especially as it relates to young people involved in development issues?
What I think that change starts with education, not only the formal form of education, but also probably more from the outside. So getting aware and knowing is the first step of change. I mean, when you know, you automatically feel the drive to take actions. You identify the problems, you think of solutions, right? Automatically. And then you start working on that. And it's important to remember that individual actions they have the capability to change the world, to shape the future, just like Maesha said earlier. And yeah, I think that's it. Do you want to add something more to it, Maesha?
No, I think you're spot on.
I think that's such a great thing to say. Oh, sorry, Atoshi, I know this is your question. Well, I just wanted to mention that, what you said about how change starts with education is so important. Like, you cannot address an issue without knowing what the issue is, without educating yourself on the different aspects of a development issue. Like for climate change, if you don't know what climate change is, you cannot take steps to curb it or to stop it. Atoshi, over to you.
Yeah, I think it changes education is very important from where we come from, especially. And about climate change and stuff, I feel like we try to read an entire article. We just wake up one day and decide, yeah, I'm just going to read all of this bunch of information and I'm just going to be educated about climate change and all of it. And I really don't think that's how it works. I think you should just study a bit every day. And I think Green and Beyond really does a fantastic job in doing that, like teaching you a different word or a different thing every single day. So yes, I think there's little ways of change and little ways of educating yourself is very important to grow as individuals and as climate change activists, I guess.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add one more thing, from what Atoshi said about how you need to educate yourself and it's a day-to-day thing. Like going back to what Shoummo said, beyond educating yourself, you shouldn't just educate yourself and think, oh, okay, well, that's it. You have to actually take actionable steps. And that's something that Shoummo said, that your individual actions can create change. So yes, thank you for answering that question. Our next question is sort of connected to the last question that Atoshi asked, which was how you think people can make change in their communities. I think this question is specific to any young person who maybe wants to go into the social impact field or who wants to start an impact project but is not sure like how. So what advice do you have for any young person who wants to create change in their community or create impact in their community, or what is like that winning formula that you think every young person should keep in mind if they're creating their own impact project?
That is actually a very nice question. And what I think that I have only three steps for you. And the first step is educate yourself. The second one is engage with the community. And the third one is start now. That's it. Educate, engage with the community, and start now.
That's very short and straight to the point, but really powerful points, especially on your last point on starting now. Because I think like as young people, we tend to like overthink things a lot. So you might think, okay, will anybody really buy into this idea? Or maybe I should do something different, or maybe I should change this. But just starting, I think is a really important step in what you said. But Maesha, do you have anything that you'd like to add or any other point that you think is important?
I think I couldn't agree more with Shoummo.
Yeah. So for anyone listening again, 3 points. First, educate yourself on the issue that you want to address. Engage with the community and build like a village of people around you who are also passionate about that idea. And start now, which again is one of the most important points. Atoshi, do you want to add anything?
No, I think these are very amazing tips, and I will definitely be using them. I think I'm already using them, but I should, yeah, they are very powerful. That is how you start with anything. And if you don't start now, I think from the youngest one in this bunch, I can say that, yeah, you sometimes feel really inferior to others, and you sometimes feel, oh, these people know so much more about a certain topic than me, or I'm the smallest one here, how can I do this, how can I ask for this? And you just have to get over all of these things and just start now without thinking about anything, and then just see where you can go from it, because there's always a place to learn from your mistakes. So yes, I absolutely love these 3 points.
Yeah, very good points, Satoshi.
On to the next question. I'd like to ask, what's the plan for Green and Beyond in the future? And what's the plan for you guys personally in your personal life? What are you guys looking forward to this year or in just the future?
Well, for Green and Beyond, we want to keep engaging, and we want to create a community. We're already creating a community. We already have a community. We want to make it bigger. We want to engage more people, and most importantly, we want to bring people from the mainstream, someone who has no idea about climate change or the sustainability. We want them, we always, throughout our platforms, we try to use an easy language for everyone to understand so that anyone can get involved. So we want to create a bigger community in the future, and a space where people can come and find anything they want, and especially a platform where people feel compelled to feel optimistic about the future and compelled to feel that they can take action, and it's just a step away. That's the future plan for Green and Beyond. I think we're we love our work. Like I said, we want to keep doing this, and in the process, build an army of change makers. There's that for Green and Beyond. Personally, we don't really have plans. I don't know. What do you think, Shomo?
That's actually tough to question because Maesha and I are actually married. We got married in December, and so
Congratulations.
Congrats to you guys.
thank you. The matter is, what she meant by we actually don't have plans, because is that Green and Beyond, the plans of Green and Beyond is kind of the plans of ours, and we are always thinking about Green and Beyond, and that's actually our personal plans too. Like we wake up with the plans of Green and Beyond when we go to sleep with the plans of Green and Beyond. So personally, if you're still asking what kind of personal plans or goals that we have, well, we still need to probably do our master's degrees. So we're planning on that. And apart from that, I really don't have any personal plan about the future because I'm completely focused on the moment now. And I think that's important because the past and the future, these are like illusions. They do not exist for real, but the present is what you have now, and that's real. And if you can work fully, completely with all that you have right now, then you are really working for the future. So dreaming according to my ideology, my beliefs, just planning and dreaming about the futures really seems unnecessary. So I try to work my best now, and let's see where the future takes me. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. I've been really inspired by him. That's what really attracted me to him as well.
Married to.
Yeah, I got married to him. Yeah. So I think he's very spontaneous, and I haven't been like him, but I feel like I have become pretty much him now. Yeah. So of course, I do visualize a future where I get to rest a bit.
That's important.
We do love our work, but at times we want to rest as well. We want to stop and just lie down and not worry about what's going to happen the next day. And I think we're working on that. We're getting there. We're getting there very soon. We want to automate Green and Beyond. Like he said, I'm talking about Green and Beyond while talking about personal plans because Green and Beyond is personal. So yeah. So yeah, I think there's that.
Like I would just like to add, if you allow me, that when you're talking about change makers and change and future plans, one thing you need to understand that if you've like social media drives the world now, and according to the social media and if you look at the follower counts, like Kylie Jenner is a bigger change maker than Greta Thunberg right now, because this is true, because she has more followers than Greta Thunberg. But you need to make Kylie Jenner's here who are actually working for something. So, and that's tough. That's not easy. You're trying to inspire people every day to be a real Kylie Jenner here, a green Kylie Jenner, right? So when you're trying to do that, you're trying to incorporate your future plans with that, it gets complex. So Kylie Jenner doesn't, Greta Thunberg probably doesn't have anyone to automate her work, but Kylie Jenner does. So we as Green and Beyond need to be at that point when our work will become automated, so that we can actually, because Kylie Jenner's strategy is actually working more than Greta Thunberg's if you consider social impact of social media. So what we can learn from those type of accounts or those type of personalities is that they have automated their work somehow, which is actually helping them to get bigger every day. And if we can automate ours somehow, so probably that will actually free up more time for us so that we can focus on more important things, even like rest, because rest is very important. I love Slow Factory. I don't know whether you've heard of them or not. They are a nonprofit from the US, and what they say is absolutely brilliant. They say that rest is radical in a world which is, we have forgotten how to take rest. We are totally into doom scrolling and always consuming. So yeah, rest is radical. That's important. So we would love to automate our work one day. Yeah.
I think that's a very important point, and I loved what you said about the green Kylie Jenner. We really need that, but it's not gonna be easy. It's not gonna be easy to actually make people aware about a stuff and actually make it automated. That's not always easy. I don't even think it was easy for Kylie Jenner for what she does now, and then it's like us even another thing on top of it. That's like you have to make people understand what all of this is, what being green means. So yeah, I love that. And yes, rest is important. I don't think any of us gets it nowadays, that the rest is radical. And yeah, loved what you said. Zulu, would you like to add something to it?
No, I think you said everything perfectly, Atoshi. Rest is radical and it's really important. And I think we just have to be very intentional about resting as well. So yeah, very good points. And yeah, I'll keep those things you said in mind. And I'll check out Slow Factory. I think I've heard of them, but I'll definitely look them up.
Yeah, so where can people find you, find Green and Beyond, and how can people support you guys?
People can find us at greenandbeyondmag.com, and our Instagram is just that, at greenandbeyondmag. Our Facebook is also just that, Green and Beyond Mag, and our Twitter is Green and Beyond M, because they couldn't accommodate 2 more letters, sadly.
Okay.
Twitter needs to grow up. So apart from that, if you're asking how people can support us, they can support us in so many ways. And if suppose if you're a sustainable entrepreneur, you can join our entrepreneurs community. You can reach out to us. You can, if you're a creator or an artist, you can hit us up for collaboration. If you're an organization, we're happy to collaborate as well. We're always appreciating new ideas, and we love collaboration. And if you're just an individual who wants to learn, you can reach out to us on our Instagram. You reach out to us through email. You can personally reach out to me. I'm always there. And yeah, and also we really welcome writers as well. We are currently also taking guest bloggers. Right now it's a volunteer position, but in the future we do want to pay writers as well. So yeah, there's that. We're trying to build a community of, like I said before, we're trying to build a community. We have entrepreneurs, we have writers, we have creatives, and everyone who really, wants to see or inspire change.
Yeah.
Do you have anything to add, Shoummo?
No, you said it perfectly.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Yes, and to our podcast, anyone who's listening, do check them out. They're lovely people. And also, if any of you guys are willing to write or you guys are a writer, then absolutely check them out. They're amazing people, certified by me. Absolutely, I love them dearly. And yeah, Zulu,
Thank you.
go ahead.
Yeah, so please feel free to connect.
You are welcome to join us too. I just said that both of you were also welcome to join us too, if you have the time or if you wish to join us anytime.
Of course.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll look into it. I'll let you guys
I
know.
mean,
Thank you.
Yeah, as we said, like before we started like recording again, like we're definitely going to collaborate in the future. As you said, you're open to collaboration, so we'd definitely love to work with you in the future. And Kurerie always has your back. If you need anything or if we can help in anything, we'd be sure to like share and support your work. And of course, anytime.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes, we are also about building a community. We are a community now. We love you guys.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah. So like,
love you back.
Like that brings us to the last question. Sadly, the interview is over, but our last question that we ask every guest. But before I ask the question, I just want to thank you again for your time and for the knowledge that you dropped. Like as Shoummo said, the world is pretty fast-paced right now. So thank you for taking out a couple of hours from your day or from your night, because it's evening now in Bangladesh. But thank you for taking out the time to speak with us today and share this knowledge. And I'm sure that it will impact someone that is listening today and they leave this interview learning something new. So yeah, thank you very much. But now on to the last question. We ask every guest this question, and that is your top 3 recommendations. So your recommendation could be anything. It could be a book, a website, a podcast, someone who you're following right now, whose content you're loving, a show, a movie, anything that has inspired you or that you're just enjoying right now. And since there are 2 people on our call, 2 guests, please feel free to give three suggestions or recommendations rather.
All right. So I'll start with this creator that I follow, and also we love her so much. I'm talking about Kate Hall. Kate Hall is my favorite. I don't know if you know about her. Her energy is magnetic. She's always dancing around and doing crazy stuff, and she will always make you giggle. Her content will always make you giggle, but also learn something in the process as well. So I love her energy and I'm so inspired by her. And I'm probably going to start creating content personally, just because, I'm so inspired by her. So you should definitely go check out Kate Hall. You'll find her on Instagram at Ethically Kate. And the next one is there's this green content creator. Her name's Emily Gray. So what she does is when she started off, we've also taken an interview from her. So what we learned is, this is so amazing and mind-boggling, that she had a full-time job herself, but she decided to, when she was tapping into this, using sustainable products, eco-friendly products, she decided to actually talk about it online. When she was using or getting a sustainable product for herself, any lifestyle product for her kitchen, for her beauty care, anything, she would talk about it online. So she was doing it for free, and she was, this is brand promotion, right? So when she's talking about this brand, she's supporting them for free. She's talking about them for free. And she's been doing this for years, and we've been connected to her from the very beginning of our journey of Green and Beyond, right? She is amazing. Her content is wonderful. I think you'll find her at Eco-Friendly Finds, right? So her name's Emily Gray. She's amazing. She's such a lovely person. Really nice. Another thing is actually outside of our work sector. There's this show that I really love. I don't know if you've heard of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So
Yes.
I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I
Yay.
love that show. I haven't watched the final season because I can't take it. I'm too emotionally attached with
Oh
that
my
show.
gosh, same.
So Brooklyn Nine-Nine has actually helped me get through a lot of hard times. So it has made me laugh. And, I had a pretty hectic life. I had a full-time job. I was, also working with Green and Beyond, Shoummo and I, and we were watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine together. So we were living in different places, but we used to like play together, and then we'd pause together. If someone has to go do something else, we'd pause together, and then we'll watch again when they come back. So I think it has a lot of memories with it. That's also something that makes it special. But the show itself is amazing. I really, really loved it. So yeah, I think those are my 3 recommendations.
Okay, 3 recommendations. The first one I'm going to mention is a person. She's a climate activist, and her name is Marinel Sumo. She's from the Philippines. We actually covered her story too, and I don't know whether you have checked it or not, but her story, she has been going to the COP from probably COP21, and like last year we had COP27, yeah. So her story is really motivating, and she's such a, not only when you think of climate activists, most of them are like angry or fierce, but she's so sweet, and she suffered firsthand from the climate crisis, and I'm a big fan of her work, really a big fan of her work, and really inspiring. And the second one I think I should mention is a psychologist who works who is also a climate activist. She's probably from England or Scotland. I'm not sure about her origin, but her name is Jessica Klechka. She makes absolutely brilliant contents about positive climate news and how to fight eco-anxiety and how to focus on the good side and how to be a climate optimist. So I absolutely love her contents, Jessica Kleshka. And the third one, I think there's this guy from Canada. I forgot his full name, but his name is William Will. He's doing an amazing podcast named Talking Solutions Podcast, and he's always finding out these amazing entrepreneurs, social entrepreneurs, or business entrepreneurs who are focusing on enterprises or trying to work with enterprises which are focusing on doing something better for the planet, for the communities, for people. And he's bringing those stories up all by himself. He has no team, and he's doing it spontaneously every day. He's posting contents, he's taking interviews, he's getting back there again, doing his research, and he's really energetic. So yeah, I think this is the three of my recommendations. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, guys. And I'm sorry, I just have to point this out that, like, for each of you, like, two of your recommendations for each of you were like other climate activists that you have spoken to or you have connected with. And I think that it's amazing that you are uplifting other people who are in your field. So yeah, just wanted to point that out. And
thank you.
But thank you so much for this interview. Thank you for your time again, and for the knowledge you've given us. And I think I can speak for Atoshi too, who will also speak, and say that I learned a lot from both of you, from your journey. And there are definitely things I'm going to be keeping in mind going forward. And I hope that the people listening to have learned from you and from your stories and can take something away from this podcast and leave a better person, a better social impact change maker. Yeah. Atoshi, do you have anything you want to add?
Yes. Thank you so much, guys, for being here on our little podcast. And we absolutely wish you the best for your upcoming projects with Green and Beyond and your individual lives. And also thank you for all the tips and knowledge you guys have shared. And we're always here to any kind of support you guys need in any way. And again, thank you so much for doing this. I just asked you guys on a small Instagram note, and you guys said, yeah, we will do it right away. Thank you so much, guys. Really, really loved it.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Exactly. Thank you for having us. I actually loved it. I'm kind of sad that it's ending now.
Oh no.
Yeah, like Otoshi, you were probably not in the line. We were just talking about how this is the first time we are on the other side of an interview, you know. So we're usually the ones taking the interview. So this is the first time we are getting interviewed for Green and Beyond. So this is very special for us, and we thoroughly enjoyed it, and we really had a great time. And we love your work at Kurerie. And I wish you guys, we both wish you guys the very best. And please know that we're always going to be there for any kind of support, any help, any suggestions, any sort of collaboration you want to do. We're always there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. If you enjoyed today's episode, please check out our previous episodes with other amazing changemakers from all over the world. And if you'd like to learn more about Kurerie, go to our website at www.kurerie.com and follow us on all our social media at ma.kurerie. Till next time.